Alrighty, folks, welcome in. Hello, Solar Pellets. Good to see you here. I have been doing some behind the scenes work on this mod, and I think it's pretty close to ready for production. So I am planning on, hopefully, if all goes well in this run, sending it out to a few people, Solar Pellets included. Be sure to see that on her channel whenever she streams it, if she does. No pressure, of course. And then I'll make a video on how to install and hopefully eventually push out a mod. So enough waiting, let's pop into it. Let's go ahead and delete the random test buddy I've got here. Let's self-tread the dev, of course. So for those of you joining or people that are watching this VOD after the live stream, this is a mod that focuses on adding in Diablo style loot. Let's go with the warrior. So every piece of loot in the game has been modified to include a rarity and a special effect. Yeah, I hope it is. Every enemy in the game has been randomized so that they drop various loot, so you won't always get like long swords and straight swords from the undead hollows in the Berg. There are some guaranteed loots from vendors and static drops. Those have also been applied rarity based on where they are in the game. So for example, in Undead Berg, the Undead Merchant will sell common items, I think. No, Rail, I'm not using the Master Key. Obviously that's the proper choice, but I kind of want to go through the entire game just to see how the balance is. So even though obviously the Master Key would allow us to get some higher level loot tiers probably earlier, I wanted to kind of go through the natural progression of the game. I've also made it so that enemies in later portions of the game have higher percentage chance of dropping rare loot. So in Firelink, Undead Berg, places like that, the highest tier level item, which is Godlike, has a 1 out of 1,000 chance of dropping. In later areas, right now, I have it set to 4 out of 1,000, so a 1 in 250 chance of getting those super high tier items. I might still play around with the drop rates a little bit depending on how this run goes, but the idea is, you want to kill as many enemies as possible in order to have a chance at rolling higher level loot. So we get our Divine Heater Shield, common, increases physical damage, nice. So I have, if people have watched previous streams, I have now changed it so that the effect is no longer in the title of the weapon or armor piece, and now it's in the description. I still got to change some of the formatting on those. I actually found some spelling errors in some of the items that I got. So it's got a magic longsword here, nice. And ooh, it increases souls. So we get some extra souls early on. But common level items, their special effects are pretty low. So these souls, I think hollows usually give 20 souls. So you see we got 21. We get a Mask of the Sealer, nice. I got to change the starting armor as well. But the common level, they have like 1% special effects, so like fallen souls or fallen foe souls, which is the silver serpent ring effect. It's normally 20%, so this common it's only like a 1%. And then as you go up higher and higher tier loot, you will have stronger and stronger effects. So that's the general gist of it. And get an enchanted claymore, uncommon. Ooh. Looks like we might be doing a magic-based run, and we can actually use this to begin with. That's a pretty good weapon. And then all weapons, even special weapons, have the opportunity now to drop with infusions. So boss weapons can drop with infusions. Shields can drop with every infusion, as opposed to just the normal like 4 or 5 they can normally have. We'll see how that is balanced. I haven't really played around with it too much, so they might be very strong comparatively, but we'll see. Another Mask of the Sealer. One thing I also found out is, I know we have this magic longsword, but, oh, okay, it does work. So some of the effects for weapons in your left hand don't work, it does appear that the soul gain is working. So we can honestly offhand our magic longsword and get a little bit of extra souls. And apparently I didn't two-hand my claymore. No, so right now I have it basically every ring in the game, as well as a couple of other special effects, has been transformed into a special effect. So like defense, status resistance, souls, attack power. I have a couple that are like increased. Godlike red. Yeah, you're not wrong. So status defense, like elemental defenses. So right now I have it set to where every piece of armor, equipment, weapon, and rings, I guess I also randomize rings as well. Rings still retain their effect, but armor and weapons, they can all have pretty much every effect. There's a couple that I don't have set, like a talisman will not ever boost sorcery damage, but that's the only one I have right now. I'm probably going to refine them a little bit for a full release, but for now I think it's a good enough. I think we'll find enough variety that it won't really make a difference. So looks like we're going to be speccing into intelligence, which is nice. I do like sorceries. The one weapon I haven't changed yet so far is the pyromancy flame, because that is a real pain in the ass to go around and actually figure out how to make that balanced. So I have not done a whole lot with that yet, but every other weapon in the game should be updated, following suit of the ones that we've already grabbed. So we'll see here on these chests down below. I think I kept these the same, so I should still find a Morning Star and a talisman. Let's double check. There's the homeward bone. Yes, so a Morning Star and a talisman. So static loot like this I have kept the same. Another change is bosses will now drop their boss weapon, or at least they should if I figured out how to do that correctly. Originally I was going to have it so that they didn't drop their soul, but that seemed to break a few things with how the game was operating. So instead, now bosses will both drop their soul for a nice little soul injection, as well as their boss weapon, and that includes if the boss has multiple copies of the weapon, like the Moonlight Butterfly, who I think is going to be the first enemy that we rush down, because you never know if we can roll a really good Moonlight Butterfly horn. So they'll drop those, as well as their soul, again for that nice soul injection. If I can figure out how to remove them dropping the boss soul, I might do that just to make it a little bit more balanced, but another one of the changes is the fact that we have also increased the amount of souls that you get, but to compensate for the effects that all this stuff has, all of the enemy HP, defense, and attack have been increased as well. So should make for a tougher experience, I'm hoping, but that's why I'm playing it, so we can figure out the balance. So that's kind of the general rundown of the mod. Again, I'm hoping to push this out here into a playable version here maybe by the end of this week. Not right now. So luck does affect drop rates, kind of similar to the base game. I didn't do the math yet, but every enemy has basically 1,000 points assigned to them, and then for the lowest tier, or for these early areas, it goes like a 1 out of 1,000 chance, 2 out of 1,000 chance, 4, so on and so forth. We got Armor of Artorias. So that's how that works. And we get increased sorcery, nice. Although, no, okay, maybe I just got poisoned by something. Maybe the effect on this isn't working properly, which wouldn't be surprising. But right now, or New Game Plus stuff, there's not really anything special about it. There is a flag in the game where you can change how you can make effects only apply in New Game Plus. So I might do that at some point, like have something that really increases your drop rate in New Game Plus to make those higher tier items even more common. But for now, that's not the case. And then for bosses that have multiple weapons, they will drop both of their weapons, or in the case of Sif, I guess a shield is weapon too in the game. But they'll drop all of their stuff. So Sif will drop both the Great Swords of Artorias as well as the Great Shield. You're getting an enchanted Darkmoon bow, nice. See what effect this is. Increases fire damage. It's probably not something that we're going to be using very much. And, you know, this is a test run here again. I think I've fixed all the issues that I wanted to iron out before doing this. Because when you're modding a game for the first time, really, because this is the first time I've really ever done any type of mods, some unexpected results can happen if you don't know 100% what you're doing. So it's been fun, but challenging at the same time to figure out how exactly everything works. So we did get a very rare drop. That is the 3rd tier. So it goes common, uncommon. No, sorry, that's the 4th tier. Common, uncommon, rare, very rare. I think legendary and mythical, and then godlike. Could be mythical, legendary, but those are the 2 second lowest common ones, or the 2nd lowest and 3rd lowest ones, outside of the godlike tier of year. So I do want to get the bottomless box because when I was playing this last night for some testing, I do find that I got quite a bit of stuff, so I want to be able to deposit stuff so that my inventory doesn't get super full as we go on throughout the game. Resonance key will be nice. We don't need that yet, so let's just get the bottomless box. Good old Undead Berg. Always a classic running through this. Yeah, it's funny talking about this mod a little bit. I had this idea a little while ago. Obviously, if you have played Elden Ring, I don't want to say obviously, but if you've played Elden Ring, you might have seen a mod that does the same thing, which is where I drew inspiration for this. It turns out it wasn't too difficult making this, although there was a lot of messing around with text files and whatnot, trying to get everything to work. You scale with... Oh, it scales with everything. So here we see we have an enchanted Darkmoon bow. Normally, it scales with just faith and doesn't have a magic requirement. But a change I also made, which I had mentioned, I think, on Sunday when I was streaming this, but not quite yet. Yeah, fire, wooden shield, right? You can actually get that in the regular game. I'm pretty sure you can get a fire-infused wooden shield. But a change that I made to kind of try and balance out stuff a little bit so that if you find a super rare weapon early in the game, you won't just be able to use it. Like if you found a legendary or mythical dagger, you wouldn't be able to use it right off the bat. So basically I've increased the requirements of higher tier weapons. So as you can see, I think a regular Darkmoon bow only requires like 16 faith, and it doesn't require any intelligence, but an enchanted one does. So that's what I have done. With increased stamina and stamina regeneration, I think I might want to offhand that. Yeah, I do too. You know, I've messed with shields every now and then, but nowadays, as I'm sure you're the same way, but when I'm playing a game of Dark Souls, I'm usually rolling with very little armor and just dodging out of stuff or spacing with sprinting and stuff because it's just easier, especially in Dark Souls 1. Elden Ring, whenever they did drop the DLC, I found that a guard counter... I have to change the blue tearstone ring still. I found a guard counter build was kind of fun, which I use shields in that, but I can't remember if I've used a shield since like my first playthrough maybe. I think I gotta change the blue tearstone ring. So that should have been a common blue tearstone ring, I think. There's like 2 line items in the game's files for the blue tearstone ring, which is why I was having some issues with that. So, just for some back-end stuff. But it's always good to parry our Black Knights here. said, nope, should one more. I did think about making Black Knights also drop a Black Knight sword, but I just went ahead and randomized their loot tables as well. Was trying to kick there, didn't work, obviously. Are we gonna die? Yeah. I don't want to choke here at the last second. Man, his thrusting attacks do so much damage. Oh, come on. Oh boy. Boy, I'm gonna blow this against the Black Knight. Yep, I knew I was gonna do it. I don't know why I stopped parrying. I should have just gone with the parry strats. I decided to get cute, try to kick him to break his shield. Confidence is the killer of all things Dark Souls. You get a giant helm, uncommon. Increases just damage straight up. I wonder if that effect is working properly. Again, I think I fixed all of the special effects so that they apply correctly, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's still a couple that are not entirely. Well, that did 141 damage, so I think it's working. If I can do the math off in my head, I think uncommon was like a 10% increase, perhaps, something like that, so that does seem to be correct. Let's go with the magic longsword here for the parry strats, so we get a lot more damage. There we go. That's actually not that much. Hubris is indeed. There we go. Should be 2 more parries on the posts, I think. I thought about kicking again, I really did. Come on. There we go. Should be 1 more. Do also want to just give a quick thanks to the people on the test server Discord. A lot of the stuff... Ooh, we get a magic light crossbow. A lot of the stuff I was able to figure out with some of the resources there. So that was very nice to have a good resource to kind of start learning some of this stuff. So people out there watching want to try their hand at making mods. Dark Souls 1, definitely a good place to start. Because it's pretty easy with all the stuff that they have created. A lot of really smart people out there. Yeah, it's a good point. Well, can you still shield break them? I don't actually know if you can shield break a Black Knight by kicking them. I know you can hollows, right? But I don't think you even get the riposte after you do the shield kick. It's not a mechanic that I usually engage with. Ooh, get some rare leather armor. So this boosts attack when in danger. So this is the red tearstone effect. I should have written all these down. But I am pretty sure that the red tearstone effect, I set it at 5%. Oh, I gotcha. I think I set it at 5% for common, so uncommon and then rare. So this should be a 15% boost when at low levels of health. I still think I like the Artorias set because it's got a little bit higher defense. Another change I made was that for armors, because there isn't a way that I know of to assign stat requirements like you can in Dark Souls 2, rarer armors now weigh quite a bit more. So for every level of rarity beyond common, the unit weight of the armor is increased by 1. So if a regular helmet, for example, weighed 3.5 units, an uncommon will weigh 4.5, a rare would weigh 5.5, and so on and so forth. That's mostly to balance out if you, again, get some really high-class armor in the early game. You won't be able to just stack a bunch of them. Like if you got like 2 rares and a very rare, you wouldn't be able to stack a bunch of them without also having to be in heavy load or maybe even overloaded. So I'm trying to figure out a way to maybe balance it a little bit more. But, you know, I do want people to feel powerful. whenever they find an endgame build that they like. Because what's the point of modding a game if you can't get really overpowered, right? Easy Taurus Demon. We get a drop. No drop, sadly. That's alright. But, yeah. That's, I think that covers most of the changes. For the most part, anyhow. I'm planning to stream for a couple hours here tonight. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I didn't break anything. So one of the things I was testing last night, I went and changed some of the stuff for the Moonlight Butterfly drop. And it broke my A button entirely. Or I guess my X button, because I'm playing with the PlayStation controller. Yes, indeed, one-shot challenges. You know, if you imagine you find mythical or godlike... Oops. I want to say yes to Solar here. If you find godlike stuff with the red tearstone ring effect, which should be a 50% boost at the godlike tier, and you can stack up... You can have 4 pieces of armor, a ring, a weapon, and an offhand. I mean, you could easily be clearing, like... I don't know if you get into 6-figure damage, but you should easily be able to get into 5-digit damage on some bosses. Although with the increases to boss defenses, maybe not. It is 50%. But for armor and weapons, the highest tier of rarity doesn't apply like the full boost of what a normal let's get some vitality, what a normal ring would, because I thought about doing that, but I figured that would be just a little bit too strong. Although I do again have randomized the rarity of rings, so if you find a godlike red tearstone ring, instead of the 50% damage, I think it's 70% damage at low HP, or attack rather, with how the red tearstone ring works. How do I plan to deal with fine percentage? You talking about drop rates? If you are, the drop rates, I'll fight the Drake here, and I'll show you what the drop rates are right now. My handy dandy Excel file. This, and then reset the Drake. So let me do a quick capture here. Hopefully I don't leak anything. So 4 areas in the game. Additional chance to find magic items. I gotcha. You know, it's funny. I do say this is like Diablo style loot, but it is... Oops, let's turn this off for the moment. It is... I've never played Diablo, so I'm not 100% sure exactly how it works. I have thought about changing it so that there is a chance for weapons to have effects, but I think it might be a little bit more interesting if it is not that way and every weapon has an effect and every piece of armor has an effect. You know, I could go both ways on it, but I figured it was maybe just a little bit more interesting. So I was going to try to do a window capture, but I am having some troubles with it. But essentially, drop rates are a regular enemy has about a 13% chance of dropping any piece of armor or weapon. And the highest tier chance for common is a 64 out of 100 chance, and then uncommon is 32 out of 1,000. Sorry, 64 out of 1,000. 32 out of 1,000. Rare is 16 out of 1,000. And then it halves all the way down to godlike, which is 1 out of 1,000. And then a later game is modified so that all of those drop rates are increased by 4 times. So common items are still going to be more common in the late game, but for example, a rare item in the late game is about 6.5%, and a godlike is about 0.4%. Yeah, that's true. Especially because, again, I've never played Diablo, so I, all of my knowledge from building this mod actually comes from the Elden Ring mod that was doing the same thing. So that's just kind of funny. I would like to also do this in Dark Souls 3, which I think I will do at some point. Hopefully somebody will do this in Elden Ring again, because I would like to do it. If not, I mean, I could always try my hand at tackling it. So this weapon, or this thing here, I was having some trouble with. See if it works. Hey, it did. I was having some issues getting that to be a pick-upable item because it is misnamed in the parameter files. Fun fact. Now we're going to need some more endurance in this run, because with the expectation that we will get rarer and rarer items and armor, we definitely want to level endurance. Oh, I should also mention that even though this is an enchanted claymore, I have changed it so that the soft caps for all of these stats are still 40. So normally for enchanted weapons and divine, etc., all of these soft caps change to 50, but I changed it so that it's 40, which I think is a little bit more sensible, because the kind of point is that you want to try and find new loot as you go on throughout your run. So I figured it was a good compromise. That attack on this guy, I think it's just the environment. I can get the Ultra Greatsword Black Knight in the Kiln of the First Flame, no issues. But this guy up here on top of the tower is just so tough. Let's reset his AI. And I think that's intentional by FromSoft. Don't get me wrong. There we go. I mean, just look at that awful camera. But yeah, other than that, I hope everyone's having a fine Tuesday evening, the first October day of the year. Already October. Year has gone by very quickly. I remember this time last year, I want to say I was finishing up my... Oh gosh, was I doing the first Dark Souls video that really had some good views on my channel? My original... Can I one-shot all Dark Souls bosses in New Game Plus 7, which was not the best video in hindsight, because I didn't do it entirely correctly. Let's reset this border. Yeah, exactly. Killed by the ankle stab. At least it's better than a normal riposte on those guys, where you really just shove the sword into a quite uncomfortable looking place, I guess is the best way to put it. But yeah, I think this time last year I was finishing up that first Dark Souls video, and then I did some other Dark Souls videos. I tried doing the can I one-shot all the bosses in the highest level of... What the heck is this board doing? New Game Pluses for the other Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 games. And I did the same for Elden Ring. That was kind of fun. I don't know why I can't get the backstab on this guy. Hello? Am I going crazy? You can... Okay, I don't know why that wasn't registering. That was a backstab. Okay, I guess I gotta fix that loot. I thought I'd fix that so that the Fang Boar would drop his helmet no matter what, but I guess I did not. Because him, who drops his normally... this halberd up here should be common, maybe uncommon. Yeah, Crystal Halberd, just common. It is. So, look at that. Hey, we've got 2 red tearstone ring effects on a couple of different ones. We got the Crystal Halberd, and then it was the... Oh, this is the leather armor. So, if we wanted to do an RTSR type build, we certainly have the opportunity to, but I'm not sure I want to. I want to rush down the Moonlight Butterfly, because I want to see... I guess Solar Pellets is here. Base Creator like that. Oh, yeah, backstabbed. Yeah, it was funny. Both of us kind of got big at like the exact same time. It's kind of an interesting thing because we both put out like you know, highest DPS type runs in Dark Souls 1, and then I'll finish my thought and then I'll get into that. We both did like high DPS runs, and then we both kind of remade them with some improved information, and both of those videos kind of tracked the exact same, you know, getting caught in the algorithm. And then we all, you know, we both grew, and then I think we're right around the same number of subscribers. I haven't checked. Yeah, both 7.2K. It's, I don't know. It's just kind of funny. Kind of the, hopefully, new generation-ish. I shouldn't tout it too much, but I'm having fun making Souls content. It's been a good hobby for me. I don't want to say I had any destructive hobbies before then, but I was looking for one, and I kind of stumbled upon this. And it's been very nice to kind of do this. Let's do the gargoyles first here, just in case we get something good. And then I'll go fight the moonlight butterfly. Because, again, I think I fixed the issue, but again, I fought the moonlight butterfly last night when I was testing this out, and it broke my game almost entirely. But yes, you're right. Common is basically like a +0. And it's basically like +3-ish levels per upgrade. So that does mean that Godlike is kind of like a +18, +20-ish. That, and on top of the extra effects that it grants. Yeah, I do want people to feel overpowered if they get super, super high rarity gear. I think that's just, I think that just makes sense, to be quite honest with you. But with the drop rates being so low, you never know. Well, hopefully you'll only stumble on 1 or 2 of them on your normal playthrough, and you find that good tinge of excitement. That's certainly what I'm going for. The pointless area. That was a good one. I like that type of video. Who is it? Timothy. I think he did something similar to that. I think he did like liminal spaces in Bloodborne, which is kind of in the same vein as that one. But the non-traditional Soulsborne videos are always fascinating to watch, and they really do tickle my fancy, something fierce, to put it in the most esoteric way possible. Let's go ahead and reinforce our Estus flask. Yes, Demon Souls. You know, Demon Souls, it's funny. So I got into Souls about closer to 3 years now, kind of probably like a lot of people when Elden Ring came out. I didn't play until the summer of 21, I think. Might have been 22, I'm trying to remember. So one of the streamers I watched a lot, he was playing Elden Ring, and he was playing a game, or he's doing the fight against the Ancestral Spirit, and I really liked the soundtrack in that fight. So I remember very distinctly looking up like the best soundtracks in Souls, and gosh, I can't remember who did a lot of the videos on the community rankings. I think he also did the video on top 10 Soulsborne tracks, and I heard the Gwyn track, and I was very intrigued, and then I finally went ahead and bought Dark Souls, and here I am. So I remember very, very distinctly about how I got into this game in the first place. Which is good, because I know that there are a lot of people that kind of follow suit, where they watch somebody play this game or other Souls games. Holy cow. I think it might have been DMod. That does sound familiar. Those guys just absolutely shredded me. Yeah. Yep. I don't remember if his was the exact one, the ranking of the top 10 Soulsborne tracks or not, but if it wasn't, I know I got fed a lot of his stuff in my algorithm. I was, I have a degree in engineering. So, yes, I would say that I was very good at math. To put it into perspective, I was a real big nerd in high school. And I remember a couple of times my calculus teacher allowed me to go up to the front of the class and try and teach the topic of the day. She was a great teacher. So, long story short, yes, I would hopefully consider myself good at math because my job in real life relies on it. I gotcha. Well, the person that got me into it was Northern Lion. I like watching him a lot. He's kind of the streamer I watch. There's a couple other people I watch, but he was the one that got me into it. I've been watching him. It's crazy. I've been watching him. He's like the primary YouTuber that I've been watching for like more than a decade now. And I have rotated people in and out of my viewing rotations, but I can remember, it's funny, I'm talking about how I first found Souls games. I can remember how I first found him, which is kind of weird, because he got me into the Binding of Isaac back in the day. Okay, this Chandler is really starting to annoy me, especially with these hollows here. And excuse me, you coming up from the back and we're dead. So this is where the increased scaling, I think, is starting to rear its head. So these guys normally do quite a bit of damage, but I don't think they usually do this much. Could be a fact that I'm not wearing any armor, but I don't want to wear my regular hard leather armor because I want to find some new loot. Just gotta take it slow. Do I have any bolts? I don't. And I should say that I also did play Dark Souls 3 for a very brief period of time in college. I played Dark Souls 3 because I kind of got bored of Skyrim, and I made it to, I think, Vort. I can't remember if I actually fought him, but I remember I gave up on the high wall because the game just did not make any sense to me. Yeah, that's very true. But for the buffs, I mean, they're not weak enemies. You know, the kind of thing is there's a lot of them. So I'm gonna try to just rush down the ladder here. But again, I'm pretty sure I increased the scaling on these guys by about like 30%. I see. Yeah, I like Illusory Wall too. I've talked to him a couple of times. He reached out to me after my video on the Red Tearstone ring, I think. That sounds right. I've talked with him a little bit about some Demon Soul stuff actually. I've been trying to figure out some mechanics in Demon Souls. I want to make a video covering a lot of the, I want to say lesser known, but a lot of the mechanics in Demon Souls that are not very well documented, right? Especially drop rate stuff. Okay, this gargoyle has dodged more times than I think I've ever seen in a single fight. But yeah, I also played through them in order. I played, okay, this guy is killing me. I played 1, 2, and 3. And I played Elden Ring. And then I played Demon Souls. And then I finally played Bloodborne, which I have to revisit again because I've only ever beat that game once. And I didn't love it. But getting back to Demon Souls, I think it is my favorite atmosphere-wise game for Dark Souls. Yeah, it's always kind of interesting when some of the larger YouTubers reach out to you. It's kind of cool. You know, Lemon from the Backlogs reached out to me, and now I'm in the Dark Souls 2 one-shot challenge video. Holy cow! We're doing a Dark Souls 2 kind of one-shot type thing, like he did for Dark Souls 1, which I've thrown a lot of research into. Talked with Challenger Andy a lot, if you guys know who that is. Seems like a cool guy. He's helped me with some of this mod making stuff quite a bit. It's funny because I've actually talked with the person who I'm pretty sure I watched the first challenge run of a Dark Souls video, which was Gamers Weekend. I think his Miracle's Only Dark Souls 1 run was the first challenge run that I watched. If it wasn't the first one, it's the first one that I remember, I think. At least the one that I have conscious memory of. So it's kind of neat to talk with people who whose content you've enjoyed over the years, without being parasocial. Maybe isn't the best word, but it does. Yeah, like JK. Oh, I gotta fix this too. So this is one of the things I gotta fix. There's you can see accessory caption ID 121000. So that's a failsafe. So the effect should still apply, but I'll just tell you the way I had to import. Okay, am I going to die again? The way I had to import all of the names for the armor, the Excel file that I have that contains all the names is like, it's definitely in the 5 digits in terms of number of lines. I think it's like 60,000 lines of text, which sounds like a lot. It's really not that much. But the problem is with having all of these weapons have variable effects, you can't just have the same description be applied to multiple of the same type of armor or weapon. Like you have to actually go through and code an ID for each and every single one of them. Smoke's leggings. Ooh, it increases equipment load, which is kind of funny. Or heavy rolling. These things are absolutely ridiculous. They are my favorite. This is my favorite armor set in Dark Souls 1, even if it's terrible. Okay, so that increases lightning defense, which doesn't really do anything. Oh, I didn't even check this. Xanthus Overcoat increases HP. Nice. Excuse me, sorry. Meant to mute. One of the things I'm trying to figure out for quality of life purposes is if I want to keep descriptions in the armor and weapon name like I have right here. I think it's hello Shindatsuku. Maybe I'm sure I remember which comment it was. I can't remember off the top of my head what year it was. But quality of life stuff, I'm trying to figure out if it's best to keep it in the description like this. I think it is. Yeah, I mean, heavy roll and normal roll in Dark Souls 1, it's not like there's a huge difference anyway. But just the recovery frames are quite long. And we can poise through his axe attack. At least the first one, it looks like. And are we getting the passive HP regeneration? We are not. And I think that is because my HP is lower than 1,000. So there's some effects that are percentage based, and I think the common one... Okay, we're dead again. Oh yeah, that ONS run. I gotcha. The common... Whoop. Whoop. Here's my YouTube Shorts feed. The common effect... Sorry, I get distracted by 3 different things. The common effect for HP regeneration, I think, is only 1% per second. And I guess I didn't even put it on, so maybe I'm just an idiot. Yeah, well, I'm fat rolling, so it's even worse than that. I'm gonna take these off. It's just the Xanthus overcoat. It's an overcoat in all words, because we get nothing underneath. I mean, this man rolls up to your house. What are you gonna do? Yeah, I'll have to double check, because I can't remember what that was off the top of my head. Although I'm sure I read it. Shin. And if I haven't, I will be sure to check it out, because I do want to add some more effects into this game. Alright, let's try and regain my Dark Souls pride by not dying over and over to the Belfry Gargoyles. Oh, come on, that didn't hit. And we're dead again? Yep, we're dead again. Ah, man. Things just not going well here. And I could go fight the Moonlight Butterfly. Name doesn't sound familiar. Aridin? I can't say that I know. How hard was it to do this mod? So, from conception to reality right now, try the magic longsword, it's a little quicker. You know, I've had this in the back of my mind for a little bit. The Google Sheets doc that I made with some ideas while I was bored one day at work, well, I put that together on Monday last week. So from that into actually implementing this, took about a week and some change in terms of hours, maybe like, I don't know, 30, 35 hours at most. It was a lot of my weekend time, but I was having fun doing it. So the actual creation of it, honestly, not too difficult. Once I figured out how to make some changes quicker. Because the biggest thing was troubleshooting. Oh, look at that, boys. We got a godlike bloated sorcerer ahead. Holy cow. That is a 1 out of 1,000 chance. Let's go. But yeah, about 35 hours, maybe 40 hours. What does this bad boy do? Oh man. It increases souls from fallen foes. So this should be like a 40%. Yeah, I mean, you know. Oh, this thing is beautiful. Look at that. We should be rich in souls now. But I don't know. I mean, I can't say, you know, like in comparison, like how long the Elden Ring one would have been. Holy cow. My poise is just garbage. I think I am going to pivot. I'm going to pivot so I can go pick up the wolf ring because I want some more poise against these guys. I definitely want some more poise. But yeah, so the Excel files that I have, which randomizes all this stuff, those I want to say took me about 15 to 20 hours to make, and then a lot of the other stuff was troubleshooting and getting the text to import properly like this. So for each weapon and armor in the game, yeah, that's true. But I think I have to get the basement key, which requires me to fight the Moonlight Butterfly. And with an enchanted weapon, I'm not going to be doing great damage. But for each weapon and armor piece in the game, basically how the game usually does it is each weapon has one ID, and then all of the +1, +2, +3, etc., they all just increment the internal game ID by 1, which means that all of the descriptions still reference that original ID. So instead of doing that, because I have variable weapons, like if I find another claymore that is rare, for example, it might not be enchanted and it might not have the same special effect. Basically, I had to clone the base copy of the weapon 7 times. So with like 200 weapons and I think there's like 200 different armor pieces. That's a lot of math and I can't do it off the top of my head, but it's a lot. So right now you can see that you technically can upgrade weapons and it will increase these things, but I'm going to remove that from the final copy of the version so that these things can't be upgraded. So effectively I have increased the number of weapons and armor in the game by about like 95%. Oh boy, we do like 0 damage to the Titanite, the Prowling Demon. Right? Go kill Quelaag and buy the Master Key. Does he show up if you've only killed Quelaag? Or do you have to ring both bells for him to get into Firelink? I thought his trigger was maybe getting the Lord Vessel, because he also sells boss armor. But I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. So I'm curious. That was 135. So let's do some quick math. So, yeah, 35% increase in souls from wearing the... you might be right. I don't know. I almost never buy the Master Key, and I can't remember the last time I've actually gone through and bought boss armor. Because it's... I like the Artorias set, and I like Ornstein's set, but I almost never kill Ornstein nowadays because I like the super small fight. I find it a little bit easier. But a 35% increase in souls gained would be very nice. Especially if we can find another soul boosting item, which actually, now that I think about it, the magic longsword in our offhand. So we were getting 135. Now we're getting 141. So it's extra 41% souls gained. Whew, that's very nice. But yeah, I can't remember the last time I bought boss armor from Domhnall. He does move to... So you know where you get the Ring of Sacrifice in Firelink? After you fulfill a trigger, which it might be killing Quelaag, I really don't know. But at some point he will move to that same spot in Firelink. He'll sell the Master Key, which is where you get that if you don't pick that as a starting gift. And he will sell boss armor. Okay, both those. He'll sell boss armor. He'll do Ornstein and Smo, depending on which one you kill last. He'll do Artorias, the Iron Golem, just enemies. It's like the normal Silver Serpent Ring. What else does he sell? It's not Priscilla armor. He'll sell Gwyn's armor in New Game Plus. And I'm sure I'm missing one or two sets, but you know, they're not terrible armor sets. I never buy them because either I'm rolling in naked, I'm doing fashion souls, or I am using like Havel's armor or the stone armor for the super amount of poise that it grants. Yeah, one thing I haven't done in Dark Souls 1, I don't know if I've ever gotten all NPCs into Firelink before. Yeah, 3 red, 2 stone, right? Yeah. I mean, it's really looking like we're definitely going to have to throw all of those on at some point for a boss fight. Maybe if we get to Gwyn or something, I can stack up all my RTS stuff. He is chilling in the depths, you're right, but he won't sell the Master Key, I think, until he moves to Firelink. I think that was the reason that Solar Pellets pointed that out. But yeah, definitely if I can purchase or find a bunch of RTSR stuff, it could be nice to have a bunch of rare RTSR gear, and then we can go to Gwyn with like a 250% attack boost or something silly like that. That'd be great. We just parry him with our bare fists and still do like 1,000 damage to him or something like that. I don't even know, I'm killing the trees. They don't give anything as far as souls. Alright, so the blue Tearstone ring, I have to fix that. The wolf ring hopefully should be good. And again, I want to fight the Moonlight Butterfly, but my concern is with a magic weapon, we're not going to be doing a ton of damage. Heck, we're not doing a lot of damage to the Stone Guardians either. Because, fun fact, this area, I think, is a fairly high-scaled area. So this should be 0 poise. And now we are at 20 poise. So that's 20 poise. I think it's 40 normally. Yeah, parry with the gold tracer. And I don't really want to farm, but I do need some more HP. I don't... Unless I find another weapon. I can see what Andre sells, actually, now that I think about it. If he sells a good weapon that would help us take down the Moonlight Butterfly, we might do that. Because if we're going an int build, I know the Moonlight Butterfly Horn isn't normally very good, but if it rolls with like an enchanted effect or something like that, or if it has like a magic boosting effect, it could be a very good weapon. So I like the range on it, and I like the moveset. I tried using it as a standalone weapon one time for a casual playthrough, and it really falls off in like Sen's Fortress, which is unfortunate. It's too bad because it's one of 2 weapons in the game that does pure magic damage. It is 40 vanilla. Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember. So that's one of the items that will be set. So I think right there, I always want to have that be a uncommon. So that's 20 points. So rings I've changed as well. So a rare ring will have the normal effect of a regular ring. So a rare wolf ring, for example, will have the 40 poise. And then for every increase or decrease, it's about 10%. So, or some portion. So like the wolf ring, every level of increase in rarity, it will be plus 10. So if we found a godlike one, it would be 70 poise. But if we found a common one, it'd be like 10. Ooh, he's got a lightning pickaxe and a fire crystal straight sword. He's also got an enchanted black knight great axe. That could be fun if we go a strength int build. And a divine short bow. Let's go with the fire crystal sword. That should be a pretty good weapon for taking down the moonlight butterfly. I know it's split damage, but I don't think the moonlight butterfly has very high fire defense. Yeah. And you know, that's kind of the idea. I might change it so that base or normal infusions are a little bit more common. But I don't know. I kind of like how it might lend to some variety if somebody goes through the game and they find like a divine great club or something, and then the next time they roll through it, it's like a lightning longbow or something. You know, random stuff like that. So the kind of idea is, you know, you go through. I'll have a couple of different seeds so that all the common drops from like the hollows in Firelink aren't all the same. Yeah, but you know, the idea would be that maybe you find something that you've never used before with the wacky infusion, and you decide to roll with that, and then you say next time you play the vanilla game, it's like, hey, I liked the weapons moveset. Let's go through with that. But yeah, I think that might be something I do. Like maybe I'll make a regular like 50%, and then any of the other infusions all have equal weight. So I think there's 6 infusion types, 7 infusion types, however many there are. Let's see, magic enchanted, divine occult, raw, lightning, and crystal. Yeah, 7. But I mean, whenever you're going to see a Dark Souls player wearing this combination of armor and stuff. You know, I'm the exact opposite. I've used like maybe 15% of the weapons in the game. Although I have gotten all of them, and I've upgraded them all to plus 10 or plus 15. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, if you could stop spamming your 3 homing attack. Man, I'm really having a tough time against the Moonlight Butterfly. Yeah. Well, you know what? What does what entail? Sorry. But, you know, doing the run where I got all the weapons, honestly, wasn't too bad. Acquiring all of them. Oh, I see. Probably asking. Yeah, that makes sense. Getting all of them, honestly, it was kind of fun. Upgrading them, obviously, a much, much different experience. But the actual process of obtaining every item, if you haven't done it before, yeah, there you go. If you haven't done it before, and you're looking for something to do, you know, if you try a run where you go through and you acquire every weapon in the game, honestly, I think weapons alone really should only take maybe 30, 35 hours at most. Armor, I can't speak to. But spells and stuff, those are a little bit more annoying. I'm not. I mean, I am, and I'm not looking forward to the Elden Ring run, where I do the how long does it take to max out every Elden Ring weapon? Because I think there's like 350 of them now, and I was talking to some people on the Dark Souls 3 video, and I think there's 35 of the plus 10 upgrade materials. It is, I think. Yeah, I haven't looked, but yeah, I think you're right. Most of it is static. But yeah, for Elden Ring, I think it's like 35 different plus 10 upgrade materials, and I think you have to do like 10 New Game Plus cycles to get every weapon upgraded to plus 10. Okay, so apparently I have not fixed it so that these guys now drop it. Oh! Is that a homeward bone? Must have been a homeward bone. Okay, so I gotta work on the Moonlight Butterfly. So that's good. It's one of the troubleshooting things I wanted to do, but at least it didn't break my game. But yeah, that was supposed to drop both the Moonlight Butterfly Horn and the Crystal Ring Shield. It did not, sadly, but that's okay. I will look into fixing that for the full release. It could also be I set the drops for bosses, and I'm wondering... Yeah. Okay. I'm wondering if, because the Moonlight Butterfly hangs out on the ledge, that it won't actually drop the item because it's not, like, on solid ground. So the next boss that we face that has a static drop, which should be... what should that be? Probably Quelaag? Yeah, it should be Quelaag. We'll see if that was fixed. Because what it should be like the Stray Demon with the Titanite slab. It should work like that. It could just be something with the Moonlight Butterfly where it doesn't work properly. If I can't get it fixed, I am probably going to drop the boss items at various vendors throughout the run. Like the Moonlight set, or not the Moonlight set, the Moonlight Butterfly Horn and the Crystal Ring Shield. Oh, really, I'm like 50 souls short. I'll probably put those with the Crestfallen Merchant in Sen's Fortress. Same thing with the Fury Sword and Chaos Blade. And then I'll have to figure out what to do with like ONS's stuff. It's what I originally had planned if I didn't figure out boss drops, which it may or may not have been accomplished, is I was just going to put them all with Hawkeye Goff in the DLC and just go from there. But we'll see if other bosses have it fixed, and it might just be something with the Moonlight Butterfly. Oop, gotta switch back to my longsword so I get my extra souls. Is that the right one? I think it was, right? Yeah. Yeah, well, we're an hour in here. Just want to say thanks for popping into the stream, everybody, so far. Again, still planning to go for another hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how I feel. You know, I definitely think with the pace we're on, I'll at least get down to Blighttown and face off against Quelaag here tonight. And then if nothing breaks, which fingers crossed, nothing will, my plan is to probably stream the rest of this run, the rest of this week. And then after that, if I am more or less happy with the balance, I'll put out a guide for how to install, and then people can go on and they can play it for themselves and test the balance and let me know if there's any bugs and so on and so forth. And then hopefully I'd like to push this onto Nexus at some point with like a mod installer, because right now the way I have to do it is importing CSVs into Dark Souls Map Studio, which is pretty easy and it takes like 5 minutes to do all of this, but it's just a little clunky. Yeah, you're not wrong, and especially because it rolled with a fire infusion. So normally I don't think you can infuse this, but the way I had fire infusions set up for weapons that can't normally have fire infusions is I think I just set the fire damage equal to the regular damage. I might need to tweak that and drop it down, because now that I say that out loud, I'm pretty sure that a normal weapon that is infused with fire gets a reduction on the damage, kind of similar to lightning weapons. So I think that's a balance change I'll have to fix, although, you know, it's not like the crystal straight sword doesn't do good damage already, and whatnot. Plus, it's a common, so, you know, this 300 split AR is not going to do... Yeah, so I think that's just something I got to change. Holy cow, he did so much damage to me. But that's why we test things, right? Can't push stuff out to production until you have tested it rigorously. Alright, let's bait out these hollows. 243. But again, the 300 split AR will fall off at some point, especially with the increased scaling. And hey, if anybody's watching out there and has any ideas that you haven't put in comments for possible weapons or effects that you'd like to see on stuff, if I haven't already done so, feel free to type it in chat, because I am open to suggestions. I think I'm going to add something similar to the Lloyd's sword and shield rings from Dark Souls 3, where you gain extra damage and extra negation at 100% HP. I've looked at doing something where you're at lower equip load, but I can't figure out how to do that. Because the way Dark Souls 1 special effects are applied is a little bit tricky. Oh yeah, this is much, much better. Yeah, then you got this double stagger. There we go. There we go. Ooh, we got a dark mask and a crystal shotel. Which I'm pretty sure those are both supposed to be gargoyle weapons, but whatever. Something to fix in the final version. Yeah, we got the golem helm common. Increases stuff. This is my favorite effect. Oh. The stealth effect is so weak we don't even get the glowing orbs at the bottom of our feet. But now we got to put back on our bloated sorcerer head. Then I got the shotel. Hey, look at that! We got another RTSR one. Man, maybe I should look at tuning down the occurrence of that, because it seems like 1 out of every 3 pieces of equipment has the RTSR effect. Great Axe has the highest base damage of any infusible weapon. Hey, you might be right. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. I do know that at 99 stats, I'm pretty sure the Enchanted Great Club has the highest AR in the game. I think it's like 893. Not that you would ever use an Enchanted Great Axe, but... Or, sorry, not Great Axe. Great Club. Great Club. Alright, 1 bell down. I don't think I... Did I rust at Andre's bonfire? I don't think I did. Let's go see what Oswald has for us. What do you got here, buddy? Let's buy... Let's get an enchanted crystal shield. Yeah. Could buy a purging stone. Yeah, it is split, so it's not very good to use, the Enchanted Great Club, but I think just going off of raw numbers, I think it's technically the highest total value you can get in game. The only use that you would have it, or you would have for it, is for a facing off against enemies that you can riposte and stuff, because weapon buffs don't get boosted by the motion value of critical hit attacks. They do get boosted by the Hornet Ring, so they get an extra 30% damage, but they don't get the boost from like the Red Tearstone Ring or anything like that. So that's the only edge case where they might be useful, like if you're facing Gwyn or something. Divine Plank Shield. So I got the Watchtower basement key. Yes, I did. So we can go back to the parish, or the sunlight altar bonfire. We can go talk to Havel for a brief moment. If I talk, I mean get his ring, because no reason not to have it. I'm really glad that I got a godlike piece of equipment this early in the game. For comparison purposes, I think the Titanite slab is 20 out of 1,000. So it's... I could be wrong. That sounds right. 0.2%? Yeah, that sounds right. And that was a 0.01% chance, to put that in perspective. Let's keep pumping our intelligence. Want to get to 20, which I think is the first soft cap. Let's go this way. But so far, I'm pretty happy with the drop rate kind of rarity. I think it's much improved from the first iteration that I did. Seems to be quite a bit better. I guess that hollow's just going to ignore us for now. Oh, now he turns around. Yo. Hey, look at that. We got a gold tracer. And it's raw. Oh, that's our second one. Just a raw increase for attack, huh? I do want to get some better armor, although I think with Smo's leggings we should be able to poise through the dogs in the camper demon fight. I have a tough time believing that we wouldn't be able to. I also need the residence key at some point. Free Griggs. Because similar to the infusions for every weapon, I'm pretty sure I've left it so that most weapons, if not all weapons, can be buffed, even if they have the quote-unquote infusions that are generated by the mod. I might change that, but I don't know. It's kind of like a Dark Souls 2 type thing. But that might be something I want to change at some point. Alright, Havel, let's see if I fixed your ring properly. I guess if I'm not using that, I should take that off. Still haven't found any gauntlets. How's it going, buddy? I don't love fighting Havel. Oh, we can't even use this one-handed. We might have to go for a backstab. Come on, buddy. I guess I could switch to the two-handed use. There we go. There we go, shooting him in the backstab loop now. No, apparently not. Oh, almost died. Oh, got out of that last second. There we go. There we go. I knew I had it in me. Oh, didn't get that time. And I thought he was not going to hit me. That's alright. We can always come back to him. I didn't realize I couldn't one-hand this sword. Let's just, let's see. let's just go into the... Let's just go into Lower Undeadburg. I think that's a good idea. Nice little soul farm. You can get 400 usually, right? 785, not too bad. Come on. Go. So you gonna burn me? Okay, somehow I didn't take damage from that. Interesting. Piece of key. Hey, no problems, Forosa. I'm glad that you're able to hop in. Always nice when people join the stream. This isn't something that I usually do. I'm more of a bespoke YouTube video creator, but putting out streams is something I'd like to do a little bit more if I can find some more time in my busy schedule. IRL life, like ATM machine. IRL stuff and work and making bespoke YouTube content, but I forgot to get the residence key, didn't I? Well, Griggs will have to wait around for just a second. Yeah, I figured this would probably be a better experience live. I may make a video out of it at some point, just documenting my playthrough and as part of the mod release, but yeah, I think streaming this here on a still rather warm October day, first day of October, always a good time. Let's put these bad boys on. So if people are just joining us, I did get our first Godlike equipment. I got a bloated sorcerer head, which basically does the silver serpent ring effect. I think it was 35% more souls. And then I'm offhanding a longsword, a magic longsword, that also gives us an additional like 5% or 10% souls. So we're gaining about 41, 42% more souls from fallen enemies, which we're at level 26 already, about to go fight Capri Demon, which I think is a little bit higher than you usually at this stage. Maybe it's right around the meta level. Yeah, that's not surprising. That is the case. The interesting thing is with enchanted and all infused weapons outside of crystal and raw. So crystal and raw do have the stat soft caps as well as normal infusions. They all soft cap for strength, dexterity, intelligence, and faith at 40. So at 40, oh, I gotta fix that drop too. At 40 of all 4 of the damage stats for a regular weapon, crystal weapon, raw weapon, boss weapon, dragon, and demon titanite weapon, the soft cap is 40. But for enchanted stuff, or infused stuff, enchanted, divine, etc., the soft cap for all stats, even strength and dexterity, is actually 50. Which I don't think is properly represented at some of the wikis, to be quite honest. I think they generally list it as 40, even though that's actually not the case. Just a little bit of an interesting tidbit there. In fact, I think if you go on to the more popular AR calculators, I'm pretty sure they actually have it wrong on the online calculators. I think they all list it as 40. Smo's leggings doing work, and Capra Demon goes down. Ooh. I thought that was going to be the Demon Great Machete. But we finally get some gauntlets. How about that? Elemental defense or potency of miracles? Let's definitely go with the gauntlets. We're rocking over 200 physical defense already and close to 200 elemental defenses. That's pretty good. Yeah, so did I. So the video I made, gosh, must have been like a month and a half ago now at this point. Maybe closer to 2.5 months. I can't remember when I put it out. But the scaling video I made, that like 2-hour long thing. So when I was putting together my spreadsheet that has like the decimal accurate AR numbers in it, I thought that the stat soft caps were 50 for faith and intelligence and 40 for strength and dexterity for every single weapon in the game. Because that is what is reflected on a lot of different locations. But, it took me like 3 days to figure out why my calculation was wrong for the Moonlight Greatsword. And finally, after looking at some of the in-game numbers and doing all the math, turns out that wasn't the case. So, yeah, just a little bit of a tidbit. If you're using infused weapons, soft caps for all 4 damage stats is 50. And if you're using regular weapons, soft cap for all damage stats is 40, even for magic and or even in intelligence and faith. So you can always say you learn something from my streams every day. No, I shouldn't say that. But what was the weapon I got as I was on my diatribe? So we got a lightning black greatsword, which has good damage. Let's open up the shortcut back to Firelink. What's quicker? Is it the one from Firelink or is it going to be the one in the parish? I don't know if it's quicker, but it might be a little bit easier because there's only a few hollows. Oh, we got a Chaos Black Knight Shield. Yeah, I'm getting drops out the wazoo. Oh, look at that. We got an Occult Dragon Tooth. What a weapon. And it gradually restores HP. Can't use, or no, can't use it. And there you see another Armor of Artorias. Then we get a very rare Sorcerer Cloak. Nice. Increases magic damage. Ooh, that'll be nice. Once we pivot off. And actually, we can probably pivot off this because that was mostly just for the Moonlight Butterfly. So we can probably go with the Enchanted Claymore. And then let's go ahead and throw on this Sorcerer Cloak, which increases our magic damage, which will be very nice. I'm going to take a rest of this bonfire. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break to use the restroom, and then we'll be back and head down into the depths. All right. Level 27, stats looking good. 20 vitality, 15 strength, 13 dex, 18 int. I'm liking where our build is at right now. Let's see. I think it'll probably be worth it to go ahead and free Griggs, which will allow us a sorcerer staff, and he should still sell his spells. I did think about randomizing like spell rarity, but I figured that might be a little bit too much for what this mod is going for. Could think about it. I could always leave it as an option, but for the moment I've just let them be. But again, with the fact that all weapons should be enchantable with whatever spell buff or resin or whatever, having that on top of our enchanted claymore should be pretty good. That might be something that I also take out of the final version of this, if it is too strong. You know, I'll say that math is too hard, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. For me, that subject I find very difficult in that respect is anything to do with, like, I'll put it under the broad umbrella category of like arts and stuff like that. So I don't just mean art, but creativity, like making thumbnails and stuff, and anything related to having to use some type of creativity to make things look nice. It just, I do not have a grasp over that at all. So they say different strokes for different folks, you know. Crimson Waistcloth. What does that do for us? Ooh, just increases damage, and it looks pretty awesome if I do say so myself. Got the power within effect, although we're still fat rolling. Indeed they are. You know, it was just about, oh gosh, it must have been like, ooh, we could, let's go with even more souls from foes. Should be getting a huge boost. Oh, almost died. It took me until about last month to learn how to use a drop shadow in text in Photoshop. It's like all of my Photoshop skills are from my brother, and he is a lot more creative than I am, especially when it comes to that type of thing. So he's taught me as much as he can, but there's only so much you can do from having an idea in your head to conception. And hopefully one day, if I get big enough, I can hire somebody on as an editor and a thumbnail maker, because it is not my strong suit at all. Yeah, I was using, what's it called? GIMP, I think. Oh, that's a cool sound. It's pretty nice. But I wanted to do some more stuff graphics-wise, like my my pre-stream intro. It's Adobe, this thing. That was kind of fun to make, but that's like the limits of my skills. But hey, I do know that it is a solar pellets video.
Go ahead. Never have.
You're not wrong. You know, there's definitely something to be said for keeping up a very consistent style. Because, you know, I can immediately recognize your videos, which, you know, as a person who has made videos and thumbnails, sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad to have a very consistent theme. Like for returning viewers, I find that having the same, call it flavor of thumbnail, can be helpful. Like yours, I know immediately when it's one of your videos. JK Leads, he's got a lot of the same style of thumbnail. Gamers Weekend, another person who I do, you know, it's all kind of in that same. Well, you know, if you send me a message on Discord, I can maybe wet my whetstone and see if I can't do something a little bit. But yeah, you know, for returning viewers, I think it's good to have something that's recognizable. And we can do seal catalyst. But I don't know if it's better to have something a little bit more unique to try and capture new audiences at the same time. Oh man, look at that. We got ourselves a sorcery catalyst that increases the potency of sorcery. That's pretty neat. Although this is uncommon, so it is diminished by about 10%. Yeah, just send me a message on Discord. I've been wanting to do some more projects in Photoshop and Premiere Pro, I think is what it's called, to try and improve my skills. So yeah, I would be happy to try and put some together. I mean, that does sound good. Something. All right, let's not get distracted. I think I need to reset the bonfire in order to have Griggs spawn as a vendor, but I can always just use the shortcut back up through the sewer channel to get down into the depths. Heck, I could even learn the depth skip because I see like half of, maybe more than half of your videos, solar pellets. Use the depth skip, and I've seen it so many times. I feel like I could do it if I saw it again, but I've never done it. All the technical glitches, I have a heck of a time trying to do. Like even the soul dupe glitch took me forever to get that down consistently. Console's a lot easier, but PC it's pretty tough. And I tried doing a moveset swap, and I could not get it after like half an hour of trying. Ooh, Fire Silver Knight Straight Sword Rare. That's a mouthful and a half. Yeah, it's you know, I've thought about maybe trying to do a speed run here or there. I don't really know if that fits me as a person in Soulsborne stuff. Maybe one day I'll try it. But I'm okay on the sticks, but I'm certainly not the best. All right, Griggs, what do you got for me? Is that even your name? No, he doesn't even sell the catalyst. I think I might want to change that back to a catalyst, but we already got a catalyst. Let's get a magic weapon, and then we can always come back for something else. But if I did everything correctly, this is also a good way to test something else. Oh, looks like I need some attunement. Yeah, you know, when I sit down and play a Dark Souls game, I like to play it through its kind of like natural progression. I like getting to those high levels of damage and stuff, and I like keeping pace with the game a little bit here and there. Elden Ring DLC, you know, I have some opinions on that are kind of in line with the general sentiment, but the base game is still really good, and then all other 4 Souls games, I guess, that I enjoy, that being Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Demon Souls. Just the way that you go through and you beat the game, it's just something that's very, very enjoyable about that to me. It doesn't really benefit us, just increases fire damage. As far as the... Ooh, man, we're really going to be rolling in this. How many do we have? So this increases souls. This increases souls, this increases souls, this increases souls, and this increases damage. So we are rolling in souls. As far as the Twin Princes being my favorite fight, I honestly don't know if I could point to a specific instance. It's kind of ironic, and I think this might track with how other people find their favorite Souls bosses to be. But I remember the first playthrough that I had in Dark Souls 3, that I actually made it to the end game. Fighting off against the Twin Princes, it took me so long, and I actually resorted to doing the glitch where you freeze their AI going into phase 2. Like, I couldn't beat them at all. And then in subsequent playthroughs, I don't know, I didn't resort to that, and for one reason or the other, maybe it's kind of the flow of the fight, maybe it's because their moves are really well telegraphed and are satisfying to dodge and then get your counter hits in. It's just something about those that are just fantastic, and you know, I don't know. Maybe it was also because I learned the phase 1 fight so well, because I must have did it like, I don't know, close to 200, 250 times at this point in my Souls experience. It just feels really good to go and do and fight on repeat runs. Same thing with Gale, and I think that's a pretty common sentiment, where a lot of people find Gale's moveset to be tough, but a lot of the moves to be very satisfying to dodge. And then once you figure out the fight, it really is a very good flow state. Ironically enough, I feel the same way about Radagon in Elden Ring. I know that's not a lot of people's favorite fight. Probably a lot to do with it having the Elden Beast fight tacked on at the end, even though I do like that. But honestly, I think Radagon is my favorite boss fight in Elden Ring, kind of for the same reasons, where it just, once you get it, you know, that classic instance where people feel like something clicks for you. It's just that it gives you that same type of feeling. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think if there's one in Dark Souls 1 that I feel about that same way. Honestly, I would say that after I did my DPS run for Soul Level 1, I think the Manus fight is really satisfying to learn. I don't know if I have it quite on the same level as like the Twin Princes, but the flow state of dodging in and out, he has some pretty wide open windows after he attacks. It just, something feels really good whenever you get it down. I don't know if there's any base game fights that I feel about. Like, it's been a while since I fought Gwyn legitimately. I'm just trying to think. I mean, the ONS fight is obviously a classic. You get these weird sound effects. So you can't go wrong with that one, that's for sure. But yeah, the Manus fight is really good too. And Dark Souls 2, I mean, I like the game, Dark Souls 2, quite a bit, but there's nothing really that kind of invokes that same feeling for me, unfortunately. But I still enjoy my playthroughs of Dark Souls 2 quite a bit on repeat playthroughs. Yeah. You know, really, it got to be very fun. So the first few times I fought Manus on a Soul Level 1 run, it was really annoying the first few times I did it. But then once I got into the rhythm, especially using the weapon that I was using, the hand axe, which has really good opportunities to get in a bunch of damage after dodges and after he attacks, like it feels really satisfying to do and do it perfectly, because I was doing it in hyper mode because it was optimized DPS. Let's get this bonfire here. And I don't know if there's anyone in Demon Souls either. Like, the Man-Eater's fight is... I like the Man-Eater's fight, even though that has got some levels of jank that are above and beyond what a lot of fights in the series are. The Penetrator fight is pretty good. That's probably the best. I don't mind the True or the False King a lot, but it's not like the toughest boss fight in the series. Speaking of Astoras, I got an Astora's sword that I got for a drop. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of trash. Yeah, I definitely don't disagree with you on Dark Souls 2. Majula is, I still think, well and above any other hub area. I mean, all hub areas are pretty good in across all of the games. There's not really one that I dislike, but something special about going into Majula for the first time and hearing that soft piano in the background, it's really nice. And once you get to Frozen Aleum Lois, I really enjoy the aesthetic of that area after the ice is gone. Heck, I don't love the poison area DLC, but both Aleum Lois as well as the Burnt Ivory King or whatever that DLC is called, both of those areas are really, really aesthetically pleasing to me. So I'm doing this without fighting the channeler. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. 204 damage, yeah. There you can see the Gaping Dragon. It's got a lot more health. Yeah, I gotta watch that. I haven't watched the video yet of your Dark Souls 2. I was a little Dark Souls 2 out for the time being. Because again, I mentioned I'm doing the backlogs contest for Dark Souls 2, which is fun. But I've spent quite a bit of research, and I've been recording that here and there as well. Wish I could catch more streams of yours. I just, sometimes I don't have the availability to. Man, I really should have killed the channeler. What was my crossbow? It's a magic crossbow. We could throw that in. Hey, no hate for Dark Souls 2 here. Yep, I don't have any bolts equipped. I, like a lot of people, was originally planning to skip Dark Souls 2 in my first kind of run through the Soul series. Well, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I did not. All right, let's go ahead and kill the channeler, because we did basically no damage to Gaping Dragon. And heck, if we're doing this, we could also, let's see. For this fight, I think I might do some extra damage equipment instead of souls. We can always throw our souls equipment back on whenever we're clearing Blighttown and whatnot. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, you know, coming into it as a fresh player, like myself was a couple years back, but, you know, a lot of people are sour on it. And, you know, there are some legitimate criticisms of the game I have, but I'm never unhappy whenever I'm playing it, because I do still think it's a very good game. It's not my favorite. Dark Souls 3 is my favorite. I'm pretty sure Dark Souls 1 is Solar Pellet's favorite. I'm pretty sure that's what you've said before from past conversations that I recall. But to each their own. And there are no wrong opinions. Let's see, did I go the wrong way? I think I might have gone the wrong way. Yeah, I think I did. Shows the last time I went through the depths. Pretty sure I said that last time I played. Here they are. Need a magic fountain. It's a Demon Souls reference right there. Can't say I know who that is off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Would I know them? Go, kill the Channeler. And kill the rat. Oh, we got more smells ligands. Don't know if that's enough to... Oh, you know, we have the Moonlight Butterfly. So, let's go back to the chamber. See if we have enough to get that point of attunement, because I think we are going to want to use magic weapon for this fight. Is this enough? It is. And there's our attunement slot. Let's throw a magic weapon on. Oh, I see. Just tongue in cheek. I was getting the impression that you liked his videos, but I see how it is. You know, my opinion on YouTube content that I disagree with or don't like is, you know, sometimes it's just better to ignore it, hit skip. Alright, let's go see if we can kill this gaping dragon. Hey, we gotta... That's something I also want to fix. I think I gotta change some of the names of some items so that the overlap doesn't happen. Like, I'll change this to, like, Magic R and W Round Shield Uncommon. But editing text in this game is not the easiest thing to do, is what I have found. Especially for stuff like that. Alright. Should be getting 100 extra magic damage, I think, on this bad boy. Let me put on our damage boosting gear. Good old stompy stomps from the gaping dragon. That seems to be better damage. Maybe not the best still, but not bad. Come on. Do you want to get the tail cut? You're gonna take a hit, you? Nope. Got out of it. Yeah, Atlas, that's something that Challenger Andy has mentioned to me. I have looked into that to see if it was possible. And from what I can tell, I don't know if it is. I shouldn't say that. I'm sure it's possible. But holy cow, what a hitbox. I don't think I would be able to do it because of the way that some of the... I'm going to switch to... I can't use those. Because of the way that some of the text is displayed in this game, I don't think it's an easy thing to do. In theory, it's possible, but I don't think I'm the man for the task. I really did not want to have to resort to using humanity to heal in this fight. Oh, you're going to do your vomit attack. I want to switch to a faster weapon because Claymore is good. Everybody knows a Claymore is good, but it's not the best as a buffable weapon because it's pretty slow. Should get some more dex so I can use the scimitar I picked up or something like that. Come on, do your head slam. You can do your grab. There we go. Okay, you can see just how much magic weapon is adding to our damage. Holy cow. We basically do nothing if we don't have magic damage on this bad boy. Hey, no judgment here, man. To each their own. That's how I got my platinum, as I did the Soul Dupe Witch. And I got no problems with that. However you want to play, it's a single player game. Heck, even for multiplayer, it's not like it's the biggest deal. Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope. Hey, there we go. Ooh. It's crystal and rare. That's gonna do some serious damage. There we go. And Black Town Key. Hey, again, I got no problems with people playing the game however they want. So there you see, not the best special effect, but you know, get good amount of souls though, 28,000 souls. If I was quicker, I probably could have swapped over to my soul increasing gear, but I'm more than happy to have just beaten that fight. It is. I don't think it has any scaling though. No, it does not. I'm trying to remember what a +5 usually has for damage. I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's like 500 something maybe. I think I have to mess with some of the infusions as well in the final release. So I was looking, and I'm pretty sure, ironically enough, I don't think I have a shield that has an infusion yet. Oh no, I do. Right? Yeah, blank shield. I think the elemental scaling that some of the shields get for like magic or faith is a little bit too high, but I can't remember the last time I used the shield to actually do damage to an enemy, so it's not like that's the biggest deal. Coming up on 2 hours on the stream. Again, just want to thank everybody for stopping by here for this stream. I think it's been pretty successful. I have definitely gotten this mod to a much better place, closer to how I want it to be. So appreciate everybody coming, joining, and chatting along, and giving some feedback here and there. And again, if you missed it, I am planning on hopefully having a install guide out towards the end of this week as I continue to make some balance changes. I'll have a couple of different seeds out there where you can use a variety of different initializations. So if you installed like seed 1, a lot of the hollows in Firelink would drop 1 item as their common drop. And if you were to use that seed over and over again, you get the same drops. But if you use a different seed, that common drop would change to something different. So that is the idea. I'll probably do like, I don't know, 10 of them maybe, something like that. That's quite a number. Theoretically, I could generate an infinite number of seeds, and it wouldn't be that difficult to do. Might do some variations as well. Maybe one with randomized spell rarity. Maybe one that has lower drop rates, one that has higher drop rates. The possibilities are endless. I don't think I talked to Domino yet, did I? Oh, no, I did. How about some arrows from him? Oh, look at that. Ooh. If we're doing a magic build, I guess it's only uncommon. If that was a higher tier, that would definitely be something I would want to get, because it has really good scaling. All right, it's time for everybody's favorite area, Good old Blighttown. But for this stream, I am definitely at least planning on killing Quelaag. Not sure how much longer I'll go beyond that. Got IRL stuff tomorrow, so can't stream for hours and hours on end. I say as I've been streaming for 2 hours. But yeah, I'm totally planning on... I fully intend to stream this run to completion is my current plan over the next few days, maybe on the weekend. If I don't finish it like this week or Friday or something like that. It's our second giant helm rarity. Oh man, I was hoping I was not going to get toxic. Gotta heal. Good thing I bought some blooming moss from the undead merchant. Just gotta find it. Should probably hotbar that. But with the way things are progressing, I can't imagine this will take me more than 3, maybe 4 streams at the absolute most. Oh yeah, that Giant's helm. Be a good demonstration here. Oh, come on. I need to put that in my offhand so I get more souls. Okay. What the heck is walking? You guys die. I want to show off the Giant's helm rarity. So, this is just to demonstrate that the effects on common and uncommon. So, this is a good demonstration here. Giant's helm. The common tier, you'll see that it is 1 unit lighter than the uncommon tier. The defense is a little bit higher. I don't think it's +2 necessarily. It might be, but I thought it might be a percentage. And then you see the special effects are different between the two. So this one is increases lightning defense. This one is increased damage. And then... So yeah, so like our slash defense is ever so slightly different. It might just be a +2 now that I'm looking at it. Poise isn't unchanged though. I thought about changing poise for higher tier weapons, but given how busted poise is to begin with in Dark Souls 1, I figured that was probably not the best idea. Ooh, we get a lightning Hayato. Probably not the best weapon in the game, but I do like it as a katana. Sounds like someone's running somewhere. Alright, can I traverse Blighttown without dying? That is the question to answer. Still gotta keep pumping up this endurance. Hello, BR. Thanks for stopping in. I just did this the other day when I did this first test run through this mod in Blighttown, but outside of that, it has been forever since I've gone through Blighttown in the in the regular fashion. I guess we're already rocking very rare, and you increase potency to miracles, so not a piece of equipment that we are very intrigued by at this stage of the playthrough. So technically speaking, he can, but the intent for the mod is no. Kind of the general thought behind the mod is that you should increase your damage output by finding rarer weapons as opposed to upgrading, like because I don't necessarily want someone finding like a legendary tier weapon in Firelink and just rocking that all the way up to +15. Like, obviously that can still happen if you were to find a really high tier weapon in the early game. You could just use that because it's basically equivalent to like a plus like 13 or something. But no, the intent would be for Andre to not be able to upgrade weapons and armor. With how I'm playing right now, technically you can. It just messes with the game a little bit. What the heck was that? I've never seen that before. Oh, that was the barbarian. It's like, I didn't know these guys did that much attack. So in the final release, I should have it fixed so that Andre can no longer even be able to upgrade weapons and armor. And everything should look correct text-wise in the game. Ooh, hey, that's lore-accurate Chaos Whip. Let's see, go here, right? But just as an example, here's the Shotel, common, magic falchion, uncommon. So common weapons are like a +0, uncommon are like a +3, and then every subsequent one is every subsequent weapon is like an additional +3. So for crystal weapons, they can be repaired. The crystal infused weapons. So I think I have one in my inventory. Yeah. So this crystal scimitar. So it's technically using like the crystal raw damage. Like if you were to ascend a crystal scimitar, the same kind of damage increases are very similar to what you would see in a regular game. But the durability for all the weapons that have infusions, and like the damage reduction, which isn't really as important, it's all the same as a regular scimitar. So yes, if you find a crystal scimitar, quote unquote, yes, you would be able to repair that. The only ones that you couldn't would be these crystal weapons, the crystal straight sword and crystal greatsword. So that you technically couldn't repair. Although that was a purchasable item, so I could always buy another one if I really wanted to. But everything else should be able to be repaired by any blacksmith. So I don't think it's very fun to gate off weapons by having them break on you. Especially when, if you find a really good one, you want to stick with that one throughout the rest of the game. Oh, come on. I didn't get hit by that. Give old Dark Souls 1 fat rolling. But yeah, if you're just joining Sullivan, I should have this ready for soft release this weekend, I'm hoping. You'll need Dark Souls Map Studio, which is a program that people use to mod the games. And then I'll put some files up on like a Discord maybe or something like that. With a video that shows how to install it. Should be fairly simple. It's kind of drag and drop, and it should only take like 5 to 10 minutes. The real thing is figuring out how to use Dark Souls Map Studio, which I think is pretty easy. But and then I'll have a couple different seeds so that you know, your run, you might find a bunch of different common items that are different than the ones I've been finding so far. Sorry about that. All right, let's go on and we might as well trigger the invasion here. Still haven't found a ring yet. I have the wolf's ring, but that was from the static pickup in Darkroot. Haven't found a regular ring though. So rings are droppable items. I think everything is proportional. I think there's like rings are maybe 1/10 of the drop loot table pool. Maybe it's even less than that now that I think about it. Oh, look at that. We got a mythical butcher knife. Ooh. Oh yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, I can't imagine I wouldn't. Again, there are just a couple of things I need to change, like this, for example. That's obviously, the description isn't updated. I think if I go into the armor tab, yeah, so when you have the armor equipped, everything looks okay. Like if I go here, it's all good. But if you go into the actual tab, you'll see that the protector info is kind of jacked up over on the right side there. I got to figure out where that text is stored. So those are two of the biggest changes, and then some balance stuff, but I don't know if I'll be able to balance the game by myself necessarily, so that's why I want people to have it as well, so they can take a look and let me know what they think about the game's balance. Oh, you know what? We gotta look at that butcher knife, don't we? Because we got ourselves a mythical butcher knife. And actually, while we're here by the bonfire, let's go ahead and deposit some stuff at the bottomless box. So there we see 225 base damage, increases defense when in danger. You know, not too bad. I wish I had an infusion, but it's not terrible. I don't really think that's what we're going to build towards. I think we're definitely trending towards a spell buff build. Excuse me, mosquito. I don't take kindly to that very much. Thank you. So I think we'll just go ahead and deposit that for now. Anything I want to keep? Don't think so. Rings. So rings are randomized as well. So here, this is one of the text things I got to fix too for the wolf ring. So rings normally, or the wolf ring normally gives you 40 poise. The uncommon only gives you 20 poise, and I think the common only gives you 10. But there are tiers of rings that I'm totally intending for people to find, and a rarity ring has the exact same effect as a normal ring in the base game, but weaker rings have diminished effects, and stronger rings have stronger effects. So if we were to somehow find a rare wolf ring, instead of the normal 50 poise, we would get 70 or 80 poise. I can't remember exactly how much off the top of my head. But we would get quite a bit more poise than you would normally get from the base line level wolf ring in the base game. So I think I've added, I can't remember if I have, but the final version of this will have a couple of new rings that kind of mimic some of the rings in later games. I think I might have put them in here, I can't remember, but there will be the clutch rings, the lightning clutch ring, fire clutch ring, and magic clutch rings. So those will be rings that are available in the game. I'm also going to do the same effect as the Lloyd's sword and shield rings, where you get extra attack and defense if you are at full HP respectively. I thought about changing the old witch's ring into like a ring of chaos, where it would invoke like 10 different effects at the same time, either positive or negative, just based on random number generation. I might add that one back. I think that could be a silly thing to use. And yes, you could find a godlike ring that is maybe it would be like plus 30% attack, but minus 30 defense, and plus 10% soul gain and minus 50% status defense, something silly like that. The favorite one I've put in so far is I did change the calamity ring. So I think if you were to roll for the highest tier rarity calamity ring, I think you would take an extra like 50% or 500% damage or something silly like that. I thought that was funny to put in. All right, let's take down Quelaag. Hopefully this fight goes well. Okay, easy attack. 2 hits and then explosion. Wow, that hit me. It's got a very wide radius. Gotta love the vomit spew attack. Easiest attack to dodge and punish. I'm hoping. For whatever it's worth, I did make the Calamity Ring still drop from Calamite. Or at least it should. So you could grind through the DLC all the way, and at the last second you get a ring that makes you take like 500% extra damage. Man, I never see that attack. Remember the first time I fought Quelaag, I thought she was like one of the toughest bosses in the entire game. Now you know you can just run around and get in hits whenever she does the vomit spew. And I think if I were to add the like the chaotic ring, I think that's something. Yeah, I think that's something that I would have as a starting option. Like you could choose an uncommon chaos ring as opposed to the old witch's ring or whatever it's called. Hopefully, if it's just the Moonlight Butterfly that's messed up, we will get a Chaos Blade and Quelaag's Fury Sword from her right here. Let's find out. Okay, it appears the answer is no. Well, that's too bad. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what to do with boss item drops. Again, I'm thinking that I will probably just lock them behind vendors. So, Moonlight Butterfly and Quelaag stuff, I might just put with the Crestfallen Merchant. Maybe some stuff with Domhnall if I can figure out his inventory system. Probably some stuff in the DLC. Or if I can talk with some people on the mod making Discord, I can see if I can figure out how to make that happen. So in theory, the bosses should have a drop chance equal to the highest tier of loot. So the godlike stuff would be 4 out of 1,000 instead of 1 out of 1,000. The mythical stuff would be 8 out of 1,000 instead of 2 out of 1,000, and so on and so forth. Alas, it was not meant to be. All right. And luck does improve the drop chances of that stuff, or it should. I'm trying to figure out if I want to make it so that luck diminishes the chance of uncommon stuff as well. So if you go in with super high item discovery, you have a much better odd of getting the rare level loot, even above and beyond what you would normally get with how I have it set up now. But you got to figure that out first. All right. Some more health, intelligence, and endurance. So I really like the medium roll. What am I at? 40 out of 62. Man. Like I said, this stuff is really heavy. So bloated sorcerer head, I think it's normally like 2.2 units, 8.2. Which I guess that is definitely intended. You know, it's working as intended. Working as intended. So I think I am going to go back up. And I think I'll call it a stream after I get up back to Firelink. And then I'll probably pick this up tomorrow, where we can do Sen's Fortress, ONS, and then maybe get started on some of the Lord Souls. So, just a few more minutes here. Again, thanks for being here on this stream here. Just testing out this mod. Again, hopefully it should be ready for testing and people to download it here by this weekend. So I continue to tune things and make some extra changes. If anybody has any thoughts they want to share on what they've seen so far in terms of balance, or maybe if anybody notices something that they think should be restructured or changed a little bit, feel free to put it in the chat, or comment on the video if you're watching this after the fact, because I'd love to hear it, because I definitely want to make this a fun experience, kind of similar to an item randomizer, but just with some added effects, and still keeping the main game progression as well. I'm trying to think if I want to go and get this. No, I should probably change that. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, I think I mentioned this Friday when I first streamed, but this was totally inspired because I wanted to play the Elden Ring style mod that they made for using the same concept, but I don't think that was updated. I think it was last updated like early 2022, maybe it was late 2021. But it's been quite a while since whoever was the mod maker actually touched it, and couldn't find anything like this with some very limited searching. And I've wanted to get into some mod making stuff already, so I figured this was a good place to start. Initially, I actually planned on trying to do this in Dark Souls 3, but I figured that Dark Souls 1 was probably a little bit easier to work with, and I think might interest some more people at this stage. But I totally intend to do this for Dark Souls 3 at some point as well. And I think it'll be a little bit more varied, perhaps, than Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 3, that is, might be a little bit more varied than Dark Souls 1, just because there are like weapon arts and stuff that you can play with, and extra effects that you can implement. But I'm very glad with where this is at this point in time. And if and when you do stream this solar pellets, you bet your bottom dollar I'll be there. Because it's very, it's one thing to play your own mod. It's another thing to give a mod to somebody else and have them play through it. It's always a harrowing experience in so many respects. Yeah, that's totally fair. I know Dark Souls 3 isn't your flavor, and I totally respect that. And everybody has to... Oh, you know what? I need to go back and pick up the key, don't I? Here I am monologuing and forgetting key items on my way up through Blighttown. Yeah, that's certainly no issue. Honestly, I think the best mods that people make are the ones that they actually want to play for themselves. That's I think that's the design philosophy I took when I was making some of this stuff. And I said, would this be interesting to do? And I think the answer is yes. I think this would be interesting to do. Would it be fun? And I think the answer is yes. I think this will be fun. And again, would it provide variety? And I think yes, it will provide variety. And the fact that I think I have figured out a fairly easy way to basically randomize it over and over and over again. Heck, even playing the same seed, you should really never have two runs that are the same. So I am certainly excited to see what people think about it whenever they get the chance to play. So I remember the first time I played an item randomizer, that was really fun. Although the boss randomizer stuff, maybe not quite as fun for me. But the item randomizer stuff, that's that's definitely a very interesting way to play a game. All right. I might as well get this soul. All right, this is where we'll call it. We'll take the elevator ride back up. Again, if you have been here this evening, again, I just want to thank you so much for joining me here on this stream. Again, I am planning right now to stream more of this tomorrow. And with how things look at this point, it seems like most things are relatively fixed. There's a couple of things I need to go through and change, namely some text items, which I should have done in short order. I probably won't fix that until I'm done with this playthrough, but I'm fully intent on playing through this tomorrow and maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, if and when I can finish it. So here we see some uncommon stuff. Let's check this once before we go. Physical defense, stealth, attack, and equipment load. So again, we'll pick it up tomorrow. We'll head back up. We'll tackle Sen's Fortress. I'm sure we'll be able to get through Ornstein and Smo, probably do the Painted World, Gwendolyn, and who knows after that. Until then, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this and you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe, and be sure to follow me, or if you want to stop by my Discord, it should be Trev the Dev. It should be somewhere in my channel description, to follow updates for the mod, and whenever I put it out, I will put something on YouTube with a brief installation guide, but I also will put some stuff into Discord. So till then, have a great rest of your Tuesday evening and start of October, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Adios.